Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Anton Bruhin spilling the beans for us tonight. This is a very special occasion. It's Anton's first appearance and performance in the UK. Yeah. So just to give you a little overview of what's going to happen tonight, the first part of the evening will be focusing on Anton's drumpi, the practice with the Jew's harp and the mouth organ or mouth harp. And after a short break, he will go more into detail about his speech poems, his palindromes, and his practice. With the Fruity Loops, there will be some unpresented work, some new material that we will be listening to tonight, and some performing as well with the harp. But before we start with the drumpi, I was going to ask you some questions. Yeah? So, hello.
Thank you for stopping the air condition. It helps.
Helps, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, question number one.
Yes.
Yeah?
Please.
Yeah. So, going through your work, and not only listening to your music or to your poetry, your language work, also when I look at the palindromes, the mosaics you did, and some of your painting, there is a reoccurring theme in your work, which is the theme of limitation and like reducing an object or a medium to its like smallest entity. And I was wondering if you'd like to elaborate on this a bit, or what draws you to this aspect of limitation in your work?
I think I just continued what I used to do as child, and I guess what the most children do and had done. They like to make a drawing, they like to make a poem maybe, or have fun with words. When they learn the alphabet, I'm sure every child knows its name backwards, because first they have to learn the row from left to right to paint the letters in the right angle. And as soon they know how the rules are, they have to go back with it. They have to make wrong. So I think every child does it. And goofing around with a sound-producing instrument, who doesn't? And it was playing, and I think I just did not stop doing this. This is about the variety of themes I still used to pflegen, to cultivate, or yes. So, but you opened an idea about the reduction on so it is a skill for me to have minimized media. As a schoolboy, I had a 12 pencil color box. And my friend, he had a 36 pencil color box. And of course, at first I was kind of jealous. But I think I was the best in drawing in the whole class. And I could draw with 12, good result. And this poor guy, he just, did not reach a result, really. So this was where I stopped to be jealous for the rest of my life. You know, it doesn't mean anything, you know. So this is a little bit, and I would say to a student, if you can't do something just with a graphite pencil, the whole oil box does not help to make art, you know. You have to be able to express with a minimal medium. Yeah, that's the philosophy.
Yeah.
Simply said, there's nothing to add, I guess. But the fun to get with just black and white squares or pixels, and with only a few of them, to get the maximum of variety and expression. And I like to be excessive in I do it marathon. I don't make 12 drawings. I make 500 in 2 months or something. I really have a pleasure to really got into the flow and having the autopilot, how you say, let it flow without making. Wie sagt man, sich einen Kopf zerbrechen, ja.
Without thinking too much, just emptying your head and
yes,
going
yes,
for it.
It has to come, you know, in Deutsch muss ich sagen.
Yeah.
Kunst ist nur Beifang auf der Suche nach Wahrheit.
Kunst ist nur
Beifang auf der Suche nach Wahrheit.
What is Beifang?
Art, Beifang is the fish you don't intend to catch. You know, you throw them back.
So art is the
Beifang, side, yeah, on searching the truth. So, in other words, I would say, art, it comes from itself, you know. You have to be ready, not chasing luck, but be open for it, and I cannot say I make a work of art. In visual, I make a lot of visual art. So the acoustic material and the juice harp is, I would compare it with Stand und Spielbein. Can you say this in English anatomically?
The soccer, maybe some people know, but soccer, I don't know, so I would guess like one leg you use to play.
No, not really.
And
No,
one to
no, it's anatomic. A figure is standing on one leg and the other is rather idle, in a way. So the classic sculptures, they show it. You know, one leg is standing, doing the standing, and the other is just for balancing. It's Spielbein, we say, playing game or hard is das. It's hard to have a little academy here. I mean, therefore I have a dictionary, but I think we rather should rush to the.
I think we'll get
to the Fleisch am Knochen vielleicht.
to the flash, which is the Trümpi now. You're gonna play some for us tonight, and I wanted to just ask you why. Like, why did, I mean, it's obviously your self-chosen instrument.
About the juice harp.
Yeah.
This will be what's coming. You mentioned, you thought to mention the movie.
Yeah,
you
I was going to
wanted
mention
to make a word later.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
After you tell us a bit more about why you picked it, there's probably a great story behind it.
You're talking about juice harp now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know juice harp as a child. In my region, I raised I never heard a Jews harp, although I was very interested in instruments as toddler always. I went to the brass music to see where the saliva comes out of the instrument, and I was very paying attention on all these music instruments. So I'm quite sure that I never have heard it or seen, because I would never have forgot it. So only when I was 18, this was about 1967, I guess, I was hanging around in Zurich at the river. There were steps on the river, and there was the hippies and hitchhikers scene in the 67, 8. And there were a lot of people from abroad coming, playing sitar, playing dulcimer or exotic instruments. And one day I heard this strange sound from somewhere. And it took me quite some time to look around and see where it's coming from, because it was just somebody there making like this, was not so attracting my attention. So it took a while, and I was really spaced out, because at that time the first analog synthesizer Minimoog was available, and it had an impact on the music scene. And there are some functions of the Jews harp which are exactly the same as it is an acoustic synthesizer instead of an electronic one. It's a physical synthesizer. The reason is, now I forward to the theme later, that the thing about the harmonics, maybe I talk about later. But it has a lot in common, and it was exciting. It was in psychedelic music or modern white collar music, classic. There was this instrument, and I thought this little schnalle, or this little thing is so old and so simple. And it makes sounds like an analog synthesizer does, very common. So this was exciting for me. And to know soon that it's very old, it's very small, and it was very cheap, and it was not taken serious as an instrument. But at this time, in the combination of hippie period and then a folk music revival, which was in England very strong, and there was a revival of medieval instruments like dulcimer or bagpipe, bagpipe is still very actual around here, but old instruments. And in this movement, the Jews harp came up quite well. It was at that time, everybody hanging around there had to have one at least, And then this mode was a few years. It was gone again. And they put it back in the drawer and forgot it. But I was so excited that I continued this playing.
Yeah, we're very happy about that.
Yes.
But it's funny that you say that you got to it quite late, like at the age of 18 or something, because we both grew up in like a similar landscape side of the world. Mm-hmm. And every time I mention it to someone back there, it's like it's such a polarizing instrument. Like either people love it because of its folky tradition,
yes,
or they just totally hate it because they grew up with it, and they're just I can't hear this drony thing. I just don't want to be confronted with it.
This was in this. You talk about the 80s or 90s.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know it. Maybe it was used too much in cultural events or something, in Austria especially. But this phenomenon is rather new to me, I guess. But in the older times, maybe in 1830, only the harmonica, the mouth harp, the blues harp was invented only, and the accordion came quickly. And before you had not a such instrument. So, and the Jews harp is very reduced on one fundamental note only, and you could only do with the harmonics, with the overtones. Of course, you cannot play popular melodies so easily. You know, it is always a mixture of overtones. So, and when you had a better solution, louder, clearer, of course, then the Jews harp had even more, it had even lower reputation than before. Also before it was held as a not real instrument, it's for children and for fools or so. This is an older problem with the Jews harp.
Which is funny.
But with this revival of folk music, it began a renaissance, which is going on, and it's now not vom Aussterben bedroht mehr.
It's not going to be extincted.
Extinction. It's not the threatening of extinction like it was in the 50s, 1950s, maybe 60s. But so, yes.
It's funny, no, because it's called in. I think it's a really fun fact to know that in Italian you call this instrument scacciapensieri, which means stomping on your thoughts or stomping on your troubles, which makes totally sense.
In the sense of chasing away an animal, the opposite of hunting.
Yeah.
Go away, you know. And it is the most nice name for the instrument, but because it causes, when you play a Jews harp, your whole skull is vibrating, and what you do is in harmony, so there is no problem while one plays Jews harp. There is no thoughts, no problem. It's you lift it off the soil. There's a little levitation in. It's a natural drops in chemicals of the body will be released, and it's a complete harmonic thing, and that's all I can say. You got to try it. It works.
Yeah, I mean, before we're going to start the evening properly, I think it's worth mentioning that there is actually a documentary out there about Anton's practice with the Jews harp. It's a beautiful film from Ivan Schumacher, which I was happy to see a few days ago, and I recommend it to everyone if they come across it, to watch it. It's a beautiful journey. It starts in Zurich with Anton in his studio playing the Jews harp, and then you go across the world to Siberia.
Swiss Alps first.
Swiss Alps, Siberia.
Then Siberia, and then
Tokyo.
Then Japan. Japan, Tokyo, and other places in Japan. It's a nice movie.
It's called
a documentary about me as Jews harper, and there is no language almost. There is no dialogues, or there is nothing to understand. So it's independent for language. It's and it's. I was afraid a little bit because the movie maker, he had carte blanche. As a painter, I used to paint portraits, and then it's a full risk. I mean, I'm responsible for the result, and the person commissioning the portrait must take full risk. And the same it was for the movie maker. I cannot tell him how to make or what to do. You know, he has carte blanche. And I was afraid a little bit of a cultural journey, the land and the sit and the culture of the people. But it ended as a Jews harp clip. So the Jews harp is really the main role in the whole movie, and this is, and I can recommend it. There will be a short cut out of this movie we will see in the following program.
So I mean, when we started to prepare this event here, it's exceptional in the way that you stopped performing a few years ago, like stopped performing solo. You did duos with experimental musicians, improvisers. You also had the folkloristic Swiss music, like a whole band. You played a lot with that, so yes. Broad practice of Jews harp and music. I remember we met you in the studio in Zurich, and we were talking about, is there any way to make you perform again? You said, no way. Okay, then we thought, what could we do? Like maybe make some kind of presentation. So luckily, we talked you into that. And thanks again, of course, to Café OTO. Thanks again to Tom White, who helped to prepare. Thanks again to Pro-helvetia, who sponsored this event nicely enough for Anton to come over. And but I remember when we talked about, okay, we could do a presentation, we could play some stuff, some unreleased stuff, like a kind of overview of, or like at least a few fields of your work. And then I remember some weeks later you said, yeah, maybe I will gonna play a bit, like a tiny bit with the Jews harp. At least I should bring it to London. And so we're like, yeah, why not bring it? So I think that's also because you already have it in your hand. You decided to at least play 2-3 tiny ones, and the first one I think is a traditional Swiss one, like a traditional composition, Swiss composition, folkloristic music.
Traditional tune, maybe 100 or 150 years around in the scene. But I might add at this moment, Marc, that you were insistingly wishing me to do a performance here in London. And first of all, my bucket list is getting shorter and shorter. But I definitely wanted to visit London because it was a very long time ago, and I was only 2 times in London. So this helped with your intention. And and then I have to say, Marc was coming to Zurich from Germany.
Together with Tom White, visiting you in the studio. Yeah.
And we met many times before, but in correlated to this performance here, he was at least 3 times and building up with me the program and discussing everything. I couldn't have done it without you. So I thank you all for the invitation, and especially to Marc for this, how you say, playing the nurse.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I think we could start with the program. And of course, Lia, thank you for the introduction.
Thank you.
And stay here to help me when I need.
Here.
Thank you.
I'll be around.
10 minutes, 15. Oh. Oui.
So we talked already about how you started with juice harp practice, and there's one record you did which is especially also about kind of studies with the De Peep record, right?
Yes.
Kind of studies of this, what's possible with the juice harp, and not so much musical, but more like kind of proto-speech studies in a way, or kind of voice studies in a way. Maybe you can talk a bit about that and maybe demonstrate a bit.
Yes, it is correlated also to the harmonics and the fundamental. And I cannot play the juice harp with the tools of like singing, but with the tools of language, especially the tools of vowels, because I have this fundamental note generated by the lamella swinging in this frame, the drone, and with the mouth cavity I can filter away, suppress a part of the harmonics and let only remain the preferred harmonics. So this fundamental has all kinds of frequencies inside, harmonics or overtones. And you cannot put in with the language tools something in the juice harp. You can just take away. It is subtractive. And this is the same like the analog synthesizer DOS. They have a ring modulator as for make a fundamental. And then you filter away the overtones. And it is astonishing how close it comes to the mouth capacity with the mouse cavity. Like in the old synthesizers, there is a white noise knob, and you can make it is very close to the human voice. I'm not beatboxer. I did not train to imitate it, but there is a lot of and this is just filter away harmonics. So it is taking away out of the whole cluster the notes you don't want, and give preference to the harmonics you want. And so you can have a big mouse cavity or small mouse cavity. The variation of this volume is the basic making harmonics. So if you make a big mouse, it's the lowest harmonic. It's like an O somehow. And then you close the mouse slowly and it gets to more A, E. And the E will be the highest possible harmonic. So it always sounds like a vowel. So there is no low E and there is no high O. It's impossible. So this is the basic technique of the juice harp. And so I think what else?
Could you like the A, E, like on the De Pipe record? Could you demonstrate very quickly?
We have some recordings.
Unfortunately not. Maybe lucky for us, because the file doesn't work. So you have to maybe very quick the De Pipe to demonstrate. No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
so, but please, I mean, it's so much better to have this.
Too bad, because it's quite tricky and it needs some rehearsal. So I just can imitate it weekly, but. Funny technique doesn't work.
Sometimes it's for the better, no? I don't know. So technique works, of course, was just this one. Because we have prepared a few samples from the work with the band, with the Ländler band. Yes. So that's not possible to bring them all over. So we have some excerpts. Should we show them? Should we play them?
Yes, but I deviate a little bit because it's called Spilling Beans. I was playing Nice Beans to Spill. Was it 1970 or 71? In the Teatro Comunale in Firenze, Florence, in the town music hall, with Luciano Berio composition, and Katy Berberian, the singer, were there, and I had to do the entr'acte, and the composition of Berio, one instrument was a tape from the Bell Company, which would be a drone of quinte.
Quint?
Interval of
a fifth,
five.
A fifth, yeah.
Two notes. It is continuous throughout the piece. And this tape was not sent by Bell Company, and the performance, it didn't work out. So the viola player had to do it. And to play a continuous note without hearing the change of the bow, you know, forward and back, there is a little change. And this was quite high skill, I thought. And to keep it upright for 20 minutes, all doing always the same, rather difficult, more difficult than to play whimsical virtuoso stuff. That was a little bit, yeah. Sorry to...
No, never mind. That's why you're here, spill the beans. So thanks for that. Yeah, we have these 3 excerpts of the band, the folklore band.
Great. This is leaning back for me.
Yeah. So, but could you introduce just shortly the first is the durian?
Yeah, first and second. There is all kinds of disciplines in the music, but one is definitely the traditional music which I heard as child, and this is Swiss folk music, traditional folk music, and I had the luck to meet a trio with diatonic accordion, bass, and there is a piano player, which I was not looking for, but he was a friend of them, and so I could take the whole trio as band when I play my program, and I was really lucky to play with these really nice musicians. So that's what shall I say more?
So durian.
This was Christian Zender from Basel, overtone singer, and Czech Christian Zender. And we
was it a duo, the last one? You and Christian Zender, or?
Christian Zender and double bass and percussion or drums. Yeah, what shall I say? I heard the demo to learn the melody, and I heard he's playing with knitting needles, wooden. You know, I could hear it. I think this rhythm section, they sound like a big band, you know. They're just two guys making their natural expressions. It's great. They are really good musicians. And Christian making the voice. He invited me as guest on his CD called Kra, which means caw, the sound of a crow. Yeah, a nice cover with a black crow and the portrait, black and blue. Great. So the
third and last piece is the mazurka. It was important for you to have this.
Mazurka. Didn't we first having the electric trumpet and the film?
We can do that as well, of
in
course.
the row here on the program, otherwise I get
It's true.
confused.
Sorry, my
we
fault.
have this film in Japan. I was invited to Japan to play Jews harp on a costume Jews harp scenery in a theater, and it was the fundament was a etching of Jan Bruegel the Elder, and it was the dream of a peddler. The peddler falls asleep at the Waldrand, where the forest begins. He falls asleep, and then a horde of monkeys came and opened his box and spread around all the things, comb, soap, mirrors, whatsoever. And in the front you see a box of Jews harps open, very, very precisely depicted. And this was the base for a theater play about this peddler's dreams. It is in 1600. It is a common story for pictures. It's called Herr Niemand, the Mr. Nobody, Nemo, and it is a quadlibet with all the objects spread around, painting on a table or on paintings or on ceramic ovens. Even you have this story had a lot in this period. So it was nice to play in Japan. What was funny about all, maybe I talk about later in context with the rotomotor.
But this was this is an excerpt of this Trumpy film now that we're going to show, and it was a tour through Japan, right?
Yes, in this documentary movie we were in Japan, in this theater I just described.
And it was it the same tour where you recorded the record with Makagami?
Yes, the spiritus rector, the inventor and the producer maybe too, and the regisseur on stage was Koichi Makigami, Japanese voice artist, and he plays also Jews harp.
Let's have a look.
And yes, I wanted to talk first about electric Jews harp.
Right, that's
this
what
was
we
our
see.
intention first, and it is why. I don't have it here, but you can hear and see it on the next film. When I saw the Jews harp at first in the 67 or 8, the first idea was to give to have a pickup, an electric pickup, and put it in the amplifier. But very clear is when you take the vibration of the lamella, you have only the same note, but not the harmonics the mouse makes. So I forgot this idea for a long time, and only in the 90s I had the idea to reverse the idea, not take impulse, but give impulse on the lamella. So this would not amplify the instrument, but move the lamella. Instead of plucking, I have a steady note, I have a continuous drone, and I don't use the hand for plucking anymore, so I can play like a didgeridoo or like a circular breathing. Fundamental, like the split-tone singers does. And I have a field record of Indonesia somewhere out there. They had a beetle, and they put it on a needle of a wooden palm rib and stick the beetle, and the beetle starts to buzz and wants to fly away, and these people play harmonic I have a field recording and photography. The toga is the first Jews harp, maybe the first electronic Jews harp as well. So the effect is the same, and with the free hands I could hold cans or pots or tubes, building a second cavity for deeper harmonics than achievable with the mouse. So this is an example you will see now.
So should we, this is a video except should we maybe make a bit space for people to watch this? So we have one last mouth harp piece from the recorded one, the mazurka. Maybe you want to talk a bit about that.
I would say there is no words needed. It is rather from an old folk music collection, and they are the same musician like at first, my country friends. The melody is banal. It is so simple that it's almost too much, you know. But they play it in a very fine fabric. It is shining music, and it's a very nice contradiction. It is rural elegance. Country can be very elegant. So this is all I can say.
Okay, mazurka.
Thank you. Now this was called the mosquito, and we have an exciting part now. Maybe you may introduce Marc.
The break, or
I am told to not talk too much, but I will read something about the name of the Jew's harp. Since this instrument doesn't have anything to do with Jewish culture as far we know, it's a little bit strange name. So I read from this organ. This is an American Jew's harp magazine, and the music scientist Frederick Crane was editor, and he wrote about the Jew's harp following. The medieval name of the instrument was simply trompe. We have two meanings of the word. The one is rather has to do with card playing, but there is a more serious meaning. And it's the instrument trompe, which means it's the family name for harmonic instruments. It is the key name for instruments like trumpet or trombone. It comes from trompe. And in Scotland, old people may know still the name of the instrument trompe. Not until the 16th century was the possessive Jew added. In 1545, the rates of the custom house lists the import duty as Jews trunks the gross 114. The trunk is probably an erroneous translation of the French trompe, which means Jew's harp, but also the trunk of an elephant. A later edition in London, 1583, has Jew's trumps the gross. Jew's harp first appears in 1595, and from the 1590s to the early 18th century, Jew's trump and Jew's harp are about equal in frequency of usage. From the mid-18th century on, Jew's harp is well established as the standard name in English. Jew's trump has become rare or dialectical. So far to the name of the instrument. Interesting, I might add, is the Swiss name, which is already approved 1400 something, Trümpi. It's a family name, and it says the same thing. And the German word Maultrommel, the trommel does not mean drum, but trump. Interesting is that in other languages they have a similar sound name, like Hungarian Doromb, or in Sardinia Trunfa. or Drimle in Czech. So far, I don't talk much more now.
Because we have, you made the computer talk a few years ago. You did some research into synthetic speech and synthetic voice, and you goofed around with the Fruity Loops software on your computer, and then you came up with a few speech poems, as you call it.
Yes.
So that was some material that we listened to in the studio, and I thought this is really good stuff. You should play that. You should show that. I mean, it's unreleased material, so maybe you can extend a bit on that.
I ask you to start these recordings.
But first, there's of course a bit theory here. Let us check the.
Oh, it's nice one. It's the alphabet. How to write the German alphabet, and to make it sound like it would sound German, you have to write that and pronounce it.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
One more time.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Anton Bruhin, no. Anton Bruhin, better. Anton Bruhin, sufficient.
Yeah.
So should we just continue with the three poems, or?
Yeah, 3 speech poems. Fruity Loop speech. You could write and you hear.
So.
My first poem. Go back up a bow. Look up a bow. Delay. Okay, and the poem, baby. Too early. Try. Try, Lia. Hobby, mơ, ba ba bơ, ba ba bioy. Pow, 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 pow. Pow, pui. Grabba, bui, a, k, l, l, trio. Trio. Guppy. Sinon, Senilium, grabba, bay, warbler. Warbler. Wobbler. Trolley, allow your road. Mabo. Eratwin, RL. Trump. Tug.
Yellow trolley la la la. Trio Killiman Deba Benito. Brody. Ada Debo Dadibo. Yellow trio. Double hopper remedy lightly you. Say a poem. Say poem. 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 Poem or poem. Do get the wettable you go, get the lunar straw, beam, babu, get top leader, jogger, cutter for. Wharf, word, wedges, weather, weatherman. We wrote written stuff like that.
Be Soviet. Cheddar, Casey, fine, finna, fine, fapon, poppy, pow, through you. So, aeon, low, tree, do, through, ha, boo, ha, you see, pop, free, law, low, Z, way, worry, wimmy, timmy, bummy, whipper, thrown in. Daily corazon. Daily corazon. Daily corazon. Holy, holy, leaves. Serpent, every, penny coin, throw, wally, zoo, educator.
So these were the three speech poems. Should we continue with the next one, like the Down the River?
It's a kind of gospel. I couldn't write German because it's English language program, and English is not my state of art, so you will see the result.
Town fair flaws I river. From through rubber me no yeah. Also weather flows town Valley. Town fair flaws I river. From through rubber me no yeah. Blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy duddy host. 1, 2, Z, U, 4, I, Z, U, 1, 2, Z, U, maybe Baba Bay, also weather flows, tones, Valley. Blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy duddy flows along my feet, river, so tap, wally, go. Kim, brought up the puppet, run as recalled in a zero, was them enough him. A berry, fruit, redly, bubbo, roughly, slaughters. Flutters, always flutter, insect to Floyd loves sin, flows. Gabé, Barthélemy, Kimmy, blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy dugget blows tree, on a duddy duddy flows along my feet, river. Don't tap, wally, go, Fred lily boo, kaki, Fred lily boo, kakio, kakio, Fred lily boo, carry, Fred lily boo, free, boo. Tone fair flaws, I river. Also, weather flows, tones, Valley. Flows along my feet, river. So tap, wally, go. Better, water, potter, judder, fetter, matter, cutter, better, water, potter, judder, fetter, matter, cutter, daughter, dead. So tap, wally. Also, weather flows, tones, Valley.
Gran, coffee, gran, coffee, gran, coffee, gran, coffee, gran, coffee, Gran,
So that would be like the third and last chapter now, right?
Yes.
Because Anton wants to talk a bit, or I think some people are interested in the Rotomotor, the long poem that you published in 1978 on a record, on a, I think, self-published record back then, if I'm not wrong.
The label was Sunrise.
Yeah.
And of course I did some impulse that for the realization of this record, but it was edited by the Sunrise label.
Yeah,
so
studio
and
label.
This is a Swiss little label at that time. So the Rotomotor, I heard it was an old English society game to make word rows, to change one letter each word only, and to come from one word to another word. It was in maybe 100 years ago. It was a common game, like language game that people did in societies so far. But I made them with Swiss German words, like Wörterbuch, dictionary
yeah.
of Swiss German words, but not in the row of the ABC, not alphabetic, but in the similar sounds. So one letter changes, that means one is added, or one is less, or one is altered by another letter. So this game, this is almost half an hour row of words, and interesting was in this movie of Japan, this whole half hour was running before the theater, in the foyer, in the entrance, and the backstage area, the whole half hour, and when the audience came in. So Japanese like to hear it in a way, and it's interesting. Although they are Swiss German words, they work also quite well when you don't understand the meaning. What else is to say about Rotomotor?
I mean, you mentioned the system, so it's a pretty strict system that you follow. There's 3 rules, right? I mean, you either
this simple game,
change one letter for the next step, or you erase a letter. So step by step, this kind of a all rhyming long poem.
It's
evolves.
a slow metamorphosis of a similar sounding word, but it changes always a little bit. It's like maybe the sea, or it's a metamorphosis. And there is as a clicker for the speed, there's every half second one word. I used a delay. Each word is coming one more time as a little delay in the background, and this helps me to stay steady with the rhythm. Maybe this has to be added. So let's go for a while. It's a nice help for fall asleep, but a nice one.
Freund, Gründ, Grind, Rind, Find, Finde, Rinde, Grinde, Grinse, Grine, Gräne, Grenze, Grunze, Grunze, Grunz, Rund, Bund, Bind, Binde, Finde, Kunde, Kunde, Schund, Schwund, Schwand, Schwanz, schwarz, schwarze, schwärze, schwere, Schere, Schere, Herre, Härte, Werte, Wette, Watte, Ratte, Ratze, Fratze, Kratze, Katze, Latze, Latze, Platte, Platte, Platz, Latz, Letz, Lenz, Lanz, Lanze, Lange, Klange, Schlange, Schlanke, Schranke, Schränke, Schenke, Stänke, Danke, Banke, Ranke, Franke, Branke, Brunke, Trunke, Tränke, Trenne, Trenne, Brunne, Brune, Brune, Brut, Brot, Rot, Tod, Tüt, Nüt, Nütz, Netz, Setze, Sitze, Siete, Siebe, Silbe, Silber, Selber, Kelber, Keller, Kelle, Schelle, 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 Scholle, Scholle, Holle, Hoble, Heble, Hebe, Hebel, Hegel, Hügel, Bügel, Bütel, Bütel, Büte, Schütte, Schatte, Schlatte, Schlappe, Schlampe, Schlampe, Plumpe, Pumpe, Humpe, Humpe, Hupfe, Mupfe, Mupfe, Lupf, Schlupf, Schlumpf, Stumpf, Stumpe, Stumpfe, Schrumpfe, Schrumple, Schrumple, Runzle, Brunzle, Brenzle, Bretzle, Bretzle, Butzle, Butze, Batze, Betze, Bette, Bitte, Bitte, Bier, Bier, Binder, Finder, Minder, Mindere, Minere, Miner, Miner, Diener, Sine, Sinde, Swinge, Schwinge, Schwinige, Schwindige, Schwindige, Winzige, Winzige, Witzig, Sitzig, Hitzig, Heizig, Heilig, Heilig, Deilig, Dilli, Fili, Fili, Ziel, Zille, Schille, Schinne, Schinde, Hinde, Winde, Winde, Wand, Hand, Hand, Lang, Lag, Log, Flug, Flüg, Flüge, Lüge, Lüte, Löte, Töte, Töre, Türe, Stüre, Stürze, Schürze, Schürze, Kerze, Scherze, Schmerze, Schmerze, Herze, Herre, Jere, Jede, Rede, Rode, Mode, More, Morse, Mose, Mose, Schmuse, Schmisse, Schmiss, Schiss, Schuss, Schuss, Dusse, Russe, Russe, Fusse, Fuß, Buß, Bläss, Blass, Blass, Biss, Wiese, 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 Winde, Winde, Wanke, Wanke, Rank, Krank, Kranz, Krane, Krone, Krose, Rose, Rase, Phrase, Phase, Phase, Pare, Pare, Ware, Waret, Woret, Woret, Wirt, Wirte, Wirke, Birke, Barke, Banke, Banke, Blank, Blink, Link, Lind, Linde, Rinde, Rande, Runde, Runde, Rund, Grind, Grind, Quant, Wand, Wande, Wanze, Schanze, Schanze, Ratze, Ratze, Satz, Setz, Sitz, Sitz, Bitz, Batz, Batze, Batze, Salze, Salze, Walze, Balze, Balge, Balke, Walke, Walke, Welke, Welle, Wiele, Wild, Mild, Milch, Milch, Dich, Dicht, Dichte, Dochte, Dochte, Doch, Dach, Fach, Flach, Flache, Blache, Bläche, Bläche, Blech, Gäch, Näch, Näch, Höch, Hoch, Horch, Forch, Forsch, Forscht, Forste, Forsche, Vorne, Horne, Dorne, Dorre, Durre, Dure, Bursch, Busch, Susch, Süsch, Süscht, Suscht, Sunst, Gunst, Kunst, Dunst, Durst, Durst, Würst, Fürst, Fürschi, Fürli, Fürle, Führe, Türe, Düsche, Dusche, Dusche, Dusch, Dusch, Ruch, Ruche, Ruche, Reche, Rechte, Rest, 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 Best, Best, Fest, Fuß, Lust, Last, Fast, Fast,
Maybe we can let it run for a bit in the background, because I have some questions.
Yeah, it's about language.
I mean, first of all, it's Swiss German, so it's a idioticon. It's a dictionary of Swiss German words. I mean, I think that's a important part that you back then you composed it in Swiss German dialect, and now there's a new version, not finished yet, but you're working on the new version in like the plain German, like the German, the Hochdeutsch.
Yes, write it out.
Oh, okay.
This is just a code. Since many years, I write on German rotomotor, and it is ways longer. This The Swiss German contains about 3,000 words, and the new one is something 16 or
116,208.
Are you sure?
Yes. I mean, pretty sure, but...
How many?
116,208.
Words.
Words, yeah,
I
words.
thought they were less, but great. So, it's not my language, German. I would have an accent in German, and my idea was to do it with synthetic voice. And I asked Marc to take over to find a good program in Swiss, in German pronouncing. We don't have a real satisfying result, and I still may come back to the idea to read it, but this is an egg which is not laid yet, so we should end this program with a smile and with a big thank you for being here and being witness or even, wie sagt man? Komplize dieser
Komplize. Partner in crime. Yeah.
Partner in crime for unlaid eggs. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you to the OTO people. They received me so friendly. They picked us up at the airport. Thank you very much for everything. And I think if you go home with a smile, I'll be very happy. Thank you.